So in this video I want to talk about adding to my US dollar Canadian position. Essentially the source of this trade was from my daily trade monitoring, and I decided I wanted to get in to increase this trade because of the uh, broad US dollar strength, and also the fact that there was a kind of strong bullish candle appearing after a bit of a shakeout candle, if you can see that long tail. So that kind of implies to me there's a fair bit of strength in the trade. Okay, so the time frame is a year, and just to kind of have a look at what I mean by there's broad US dollar strength, you can see that the US dollar index shown here, that's popping upwards. Looking at the US dollar against Australian, see, yep, that's shown a bit of US dollar strength against the euro, US dollar strength against the Swiss franc, definitely US dollar strength against the yen, US dollar strength, and that's kind of really implying a risk on attitude as well, which is good for the Canadian dollar. However, as you can see, that hasn't been the case, even though it has been risk on, and you can kind of see US S&P 500, that's implying risk on. So it's not translating to the Canadian dollar, which kind of implies to me there's definitely a bit of weakness in the Canadian dollar, in addition to that technicals that we just saw. So in terms of the system, there's not much US dollar Canadian exposure in the system. So there's only about a 10% at risk in the portfolio. So that's if I put on this trade, that's how much US dollar Canadian exposure I'll have. So 1.43%. Currently, it's actually only sitting at 0.59%. So I definitely have room to add a bit more US dollar Canadian trade. Correlation wise, it's definitely good for the portfolio, just in terms of the fact that I don't have a lot of US dollar exposure compared to the amount of precious metals exposure I have, and I definitely don't have a lot of short commodity plays on where oh no, that's a lie, I do have a fair bit of short Australian dollar on, so maybe it doesn't decorrelate as much as I actually think. So that's something to consider. However, I still think that technicals kind of does imply that it's a good enough trade standalone, and it does actually indeed add that US dollar exposure. Technicals, as I spoke about, there's that bullish candle after a shakeout candle for that long tail there. I think that's a good sign for the trade. As I mentioned, broadly strong US dollar. It seems like it's a bit of a risk on market. So I think there's a 10% chance that this thing could go to 1.45. So that's dreaming a little bit. 20% chance that I can go to 1.35. 30% chance that I'll actually go down to 1.32. 20% chance that I'll go to 1.31. And a 20% chance I'll go to 1.3. Now if the price goes up, I'll keep on adding. If the price goes down, I'll scale out. That's a fairly established course of action for me now. And psychology wise, I think I'm fairly neutral, although I'm maybe a little bit rushed because it is late at night and getting ready to sleep soon. Having said that, I think this is a good trade and I'm going to add to it.